Alrighty, we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. Just gonna get things set up and we will be ready to go. Hope everyone's week and day is going well. Not a lot to talk about, but I do have some headlines, including another free agent coming off the free agency board. And might be a sign of what the rest of the free agent market contracts are going to be like. Also, something else I wanted to mention. Fine. On you. Okay, let us begin. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Betty in the Booth podcast. On this week's episode, we've got a few MLB headlines to go over, including another free agent domino off the board, and maybe a sign of telling what the rest of the contracts are going to be like for some of the other big free agents. All that and more coming up. Let's get right into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 115 of Betty in the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. One point I wanted to dive into before I go into the details of this episode, I had found a podcast this week that I'm trying to get myself to be part of. There's like a podcast, it's called Schmoozing Time with David Cabby, who's like a podcast to promote Jewish people's like personal business. And like had an episode like a From Jew in with John Boy Media. And it definitely grabbed my interest. I'm trying to get on, so if he's seeing this somehow, or anyone that's watching this knows any connection to him, help me out because I want to try to get on that podcast. Otherwise, though, not much else updates. We are getting closer to baseball season, thankfully, as opening week series, the 20th, 21st in Korea is in 2 weeks. Finally, we get to actual baseball, and then 3 weeks away from actual true full baseball season starting. Happy to be finally ready to be talking about actual baseball, not spring training. And I'm just kind of like ready to get into it. Otherwise, though, MLB News. Not much has happened. Cubs made a small trade, basically freed up a roster spot for Bellinger to come back. They traded away Bailey Horn, prospect pitcher. Don't know much about him. I think they drafted him like a year or two ago or something. To the White Sox for another pitcher, Matt Thompson. Don't know much about him either. Kike Hernandez, who has been with the Dodgers most of his career, was with the Red Sox in 21 and traded back this past year, is re-signing with the Dodgers on a one-year deal for $4 million, and he was actually the one that broke the news out to social media via his own account. And he's like a versatile, plays everywhere, solid bat. I guess we'll see if a minor league deal. It was like a first baseman who had some up and down years. I'm not sure how it's really going to play out and whether the Cubs are actually going to use him. I guess we'll see. A big crazy trade that came out of nowhere, and it happens to be just because of Kike Hernandez coming back, or Enrique Hernandez, I should be saying, because I could run into issues by saying Kike for past on YouTube. Either way, Dodgers traded Manuel Margot, who was part of the Tyler Glasnow trade, and infield prospect Rain Doncone, I don't know much about the prospect, and cash the Minnesota Twins for a shortstop, minor leaguer Noah Miller. I have no idea much about Noah Miller either. Interesting move. I guess we'll see if I guess we'll see if it pans out with Kike instead of Enrique, I should say, instead of Manuel. But yeah, Brandon Crawford, for the first time in his career, will not be a San Francisco Giant. And sadly for me, instead he's going to be part of the St. Louis Cardinals, signing a 1-year, $4 million, $2 million deal. Has been good so much in the last few years, but interesting move by St. Louis to try to upgrade themselves compared to last year's bust of a season. I guess we'll see how it pans out. And the one big headline that hit over either Friday night or Saturday, Shabbos for me, so I didn't know about the news until today, or last night, I should say. Matt Chapman is signing with the San Francisco Giants, 3 years, $54 million, with an opt-out after every season. And I have a funny feeling this is going to be a sign of what's to come. With the rest of this offseason with moves, because if Bellinger and Matt Chapman are getting smaller contracts with opt-outs every year, I have a feeling it's going to be the same for Snell. I have a feeling it's going to be the same for Jordan Montgomery. I have a feeling it's going to be the same for J. Martinez and everyone else, because all these remaining free agents are all under one agent, Scott Boras, and who is also the agent for Chapman and Bellinger. So I don't know. I guess we'll see how it pans out. To make some more time for the podcast, I had found uh I'm not gonna do it for this week's episode, but I found an interesting website that I might do for future episodes. That's kind of like Immaculate Grid, but a bit different. It's called Batter Up, and it's basically it'll show you a video of the batter's batting stance. I'll even show this on YouTube. And you have to try to guess who the player is based on their batting stance. So this is the clip of it. I already got this one today. This is for context, Trevor Story, and I'll just fill it in. I'll show you what they do with the once you get the answer correct, they'll show you like the clip. It's from all these clips are like from specific games. It'll show you the clip of the home run and more too. It's kind of like a cool new thing. Maybe I'll start doing it for the podcast. We'll see. Kind of like Immaculate Grid. I'll also do Immaculate Grid, even though I've already done it once today. I'll do another one. Try to do it a little differently compared to what I did for my own. So, Immaculate Grid today. Cubs less than 3 RA season and played left field for a minimum of 1 game. That is the top. Going down is San Francisco Giants, Tampa Bay Rays, and New York Yankees. Cubs and Giants. I'm gonna go Jose Quintana. He spent like a short time with San Francisco Giants. 0.2%. That's a good find. Cubs and Rays, Fred McGriff played for a short time with both. 10%, that's not bad. Cubs and Yankees, I could go Starlin Castro. I'm going to go different answer. Adam Warren, who was part of the Castro trade, and then the Cubs gave him back to the Yankees. 0.9%. Okay. Played left field minimum of 1 game for San Francisco Giants. I believe Pat Burrell would fit under this from 2010 Giants. He does 2%. That's a good find. Rays, I could use technically Pat Burrell. I'm actually going to use the answer I used for my own grid because it's a good rare answer. Desmond Jennings was part of their 2010s run. And then for New York Yankees, where do I want to go here? Sheffield didn't play left field, sadly, for Yankees when he was there. I'm curious to look up who was their left fielder officially in 2004. Hideki Matsui. Official. I feel like it's a common answer. You know what? No, I have a bad feeling of how common it's going to be. 2009 was Matsui, or was he DH that year? 2009 was Damon. Who would have been 96? Gerald Williams. I have no idea who that is. Oh, Tim Raines actually like that for part of the 90s Yankees. 0.8%, that's a good find. Less than a 3 RA for San Francisco Giants. I have a good feeling Christy Mathewson fits that profile from early Giants days in New York. Yep, 3%. That's a good find. Tampa Bay Rays. I had a good answer from my actual grid, and honestly, I don't have another answer off the top of my head, so I'm just going to use it in Matt Garza. Oh, no, wait, I used a different answer than Garza. Never mind. Whoops. But Garza is incorrect. Yankees. I'm going to go Whitey Ford. That is correct. My total rare, he scores 127. He was 8%. The top answers for today is Chris Bryant for Cubs and Giants. Less than 3 RA for Giants is Tim Lincecum. Bryant, 28%. Lincecum, 32%. And San Francisco Giant that played at least one game in left field is, of course, Barry Bonds at 25%. Rays and Cubs, Ben Zobrist is the top answer at 41%. Less than 3 ERA is for the Rays is Blake Snell, 25%. And played minimum of one game in left field for the Rays is Randy Arozarena at 24%. For Cubs Yankees, top answer is Anthony Rizzo, 28%. Less than 3 ERAs, Garrett Cole, 17%. And played a minimum of one game in left field for the Yankees is Brett Gardner. That is my immaculate grid. Get perfect, but got close to perfect. And that's it. Let's wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Benny in the Booth podcast. On next week's episode, we'll have MLB news as we start getting the actual baseball NFL news between now and then. We'll cover that as well. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're new in audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, hit the notification button so notify when I post them there. If you're new on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave the notification button so notify when I go live and or post a new video. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I will see you in next week's episode 116. Bye.